All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is the Brother Mayim coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kudash, the bonus of the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out His truth and His truth and sincerity. And just want to go into, pretty much what's been taking place over there in the Middle East, with what you just had Israel bomb over there in Tehran, supposedly killing the Hamas leader or general, one of the top guys. And there's talks of Iran, attacking back. It's going to be only a matter of time, and pretty much the world is waiting to see what's going to take place. And America's in talks of sending, troops over there to help defend Israel. So just going to go a little bit into that, and Lord's will, this is edifying because, we have to, as the scripture says, it is high time to wake up out of thy sleep. We see the sound of battle in the land that the Lord is sending. Okay. The Lord sending that battle of the land to the earth, and it's only going to continue to get louder and louder for the people of the earth to hear. Okay. And it's not going to go away. All right. For those of you that think so. All right. It's only going to continue to get louder and louder until finally all you're going to hear is a big boom. All you're going to hear is cries, screams, because we're going to be in that time of war. Okay, we're going to be in that time like no other, that time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, that's going to be taking place all over the earth. All right, so real quick, this is Jeremiah 50, and I'll just start at verse 22. It says, the sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Okay, and that's what we hear playing, man. All right, the sound that the Lord is producing on the earth is of one of destruction. Okay, the Lord has been pushing that vibration out to the minds of the people and getting people in tune with what the Lord is speaking. This is why the majority of the people on the planet are in a fighting mood. Everyone's fighting to survive. Everyone's fighting for one side or another. Okay, to get Trump into office, or to get, people are fighting to get Kamala into office. And the fighting is going to continue, man, to the point to where people are going to take to the streets, as it tells us in what's that? Second Ezra 15, around the 15th verse, 15th, 16th verse. Okay, that people, how's it go? Let me just get it real quick so I don't butcher it. Second Ezra 15 and 16, it says, and there shall be sedition among men, which we know sedition being an uprising, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people are going to take matter into their own hands. And this is what we're going to see happening on an even grander scale. You see the nations of the world preparing themselves to take matters into their own hands. This is why the scriptures talk about the nations, the weak nations, saying we are strong, because now the nations have taken it upon themselves to arm themselves. They've made allies with other nations that are stronger. They've been supplied with weapons, such as nations like Iran, to be specific. Salakia. Okay? So this is what we see taking place, man. The nations, the Lord putting the spirit in the nations to prepare themselves. Why? Because that sound of battle is in the land. Okay? People are going to be taking matters into their own hands. Literally on the streets, as we read about in 2nd Ezra 15, and even on a greater scale, okay, or a greater stage, the upcoming World War III that we're getting ready to experience, because this is a time that's going to be coming to everyone on the planet Earth. Okay, and America's power is being taken. Okay, back in Jeremiah 50 and 23, it says, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" And that hammer is America. Babylon here in the scripture is talking about America. America is the police of the world. That's what it means by hammer. What does a hammer do? It drives nails into whatever, into wood, or whatever surface you want to say. But how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has America become a desolation? How is America cut asunder and broken? They go around the whole world policing it, telling people what they can and can't do. And nations like Israel, who are allied with America, have been emboldened by that power. But now that power is crumbling because the other nations are starting to rise up. Okay? They're starting to realize that America has lost its power to drive the nail. Okay? It says, verse 24, and this is the point, "I have laid a snare for thee. Thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord." You see, the Lord has set a trap for America, man. He's put it in their hearts to be proud, to go around the whole planet Earth, thinking they can get away with what they've been doing. But the Lord has ensnared you, man, primarily with your own pride. But those that also were confederate with thee, okay, as it talks about in Obadiah, those that you thought were allied with you are going to turn against you, as we've been seeing over the last few years. It says, verse 25, "The Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord of power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left." And that's what's going to take place, man. World War III will lead to the destruction of America via thermonuclear fire. This is what the scriptures is talking about here in verse 25. It says, "The Lord had opened his armory," talking about the nuclear missiles, "and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans." Modern day land of the Chaldeans is where? Here in America. Okay. It says, verse 26, "Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses." America's going to be raided, man. Okay, you're going to be taken. Your storehouses is what? Where people would, back in the ancient days, would be where you store your grains, okay? Your food. It's going to be opened up. It's going to be given up to the nations, just as America has done to the other nations, reaped where they have not sowed. And it says, "Cast her up as heaps and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left." And this is the sound that we're hearing, man. Okay. It says, verse 27, it says, "Slay all her bullocks. Let them come down into the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation." You see, the time of America's visitation is coming, man. The entire planet Earth is fed up with what America has been doing on a global scale. Nations have been indebted. Nations' economies have crumbled. Okay, nations have been invaded. Okay, nations have been spoiled because of America, by America. Okay, America has set up political leaders in nations where they had no business of being in, especially setting up government leaders. If America's setting up government leaders in other countries doesn't show you how wicked they are, then I don't know what to tell you. Because that in itself is wicked. You going over to another country to set up your own person who should be in charge, when the people should be the ones choosing that, the people from that country, right? But the fact that you're setting up your own person so that you can have your will, so that your will can be done in that country is wicked, man. Because that's all it is. When you set up a leader in another country, man, all you're doing is setting up a proxy, someone that's going to work there on your behalf. That man isn't really leading anything. He's just there to do what he's told. Okay? And the nations are fed up with this shit, man. Okay? And it's no different here in Babylon. There's been the same thing being done. All these so-called elections that you've been having over the years, you think you're putting someone in office, man. The person they want to be put in there is going to go in there and do exactly what they're told to do. You're not voting anybody in. They're not bringing about their own agenda. They're being put in office to do a particular job, to do what they are told, just like anywhere else. But what's been the snare that's been laid, okay, in the minds of you Americans is that you've had an illusion of choice, thinking that a particular agenda is going to be changed if you just vote someone else in. And that's not true. You still realize every 4 years, you realize that things are still the same. You still ended up exactly where you were 4 years ago. But you still go out there and you vote. You try to make a change, and this shit never happens. That's how bugged out you people are, man. And this is why the Lord is going to destroy you. Because you're a bunch of idiots, man. And the Lord hates stupidity. Okay? Because the Lord has made it plain this day, the way that you should be going in. All right? The one that you should be putting your trust in. And that's him, the Lord, Yahweh. That is his name. And in his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. Okay? But let me get this precept and we'll close out, because, again, going into this World War III, this whole thing that's taking place now with Israel and Iran, all right, again, this is all in the scriptures, man. This is why we trust in the Lord, because he declared the end from the beginning. Things that are written thousands of years ago are taking place here on the earth today. And if you don't fear that, I don't know what to tell you. All right, but this is 2 Ezra 15 and verse 28. It says, "Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east." And where's the east? Yeah, you're hearing it all over the news, right? It says, verse 29, "Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble." And right now you have those Ishmaelites, all right, the Arabs, so-called Arab nations, over there in uproar with what's taking place with Israel and Palestine. Those Palestinians saying they have rights to that land, and Israel, okay, saying that that's rightfully theirs, and they're taking it by force, in so much that they're invading Palestine, the Gaza Strip, and bombing people, and so on and so forth. Okay, and over the years, this war that's been over there in the Middle East, over that land, has just continued to escalate to where we're at today. Okay, with Hamas, doing what they did in October of last year. All right, now you have Hezbollah. All right, with Yemen, with the Houthis. Okay, and now Iran, which it's been said that the Houthis or the Hezbollah and Hamas, all these people being proxies of Iran. Okay, so let's go into this now. Verse 30, 2nd Ezra 15 and 30 says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Okay, and what? Who are the Carmanians? Well, let's look it up. Carmania. All right, here in Wikipedia, Carmania says is a region. Carmania, Old Persian, Romanized Karmana, Middle Persia, Kerman. Says it's a historical region that approximately corresponds to the current province of Kerman, Iran, and was a province of the Achaemenid, Seleucid, Parthian, and Sasanian Empire. The region bordered Persia proper in the west, Cordasia in the southeast, and Parthia in the north, later known as Abashar, and Aria in the northeast. Carmania was considered part of Arania or Ariana. Okay, but it said what? Corresponds with the current province of Kerman, Iran, and was a province of the Achaemenid Seleucid, which, that goes into the history. So this is talking about that Iranian, those Iranians, man. Okay. Which, when you go into Iran, okay, those were the ancient Persians, okay? And who were the ancient Persians? Let me get that. Let me see where it's at. Give me 1 second, Bubba Good Shaw. Let me see if I can find it here. See if it says it. All right, because again, those ancient Persians, I'm not sure if it goes into it here. Yeah, it's not going to show it in here. Those pretty much, that's going into Elam, all right? The so-called East Indians, the people of Iran. Those are all people that are Elamites, okay? Yeah, it's not going to show it here. But the Iranians, I believe they still call themselves the Persians, because that's what they were. That used to be known as Persia. Okay, it wasn't until like the 1930s or so that they changed their name to Iran with an E. And America and the world pretty much calls them Iran, which really it's Iran. But even so, they're really known as Persia, which goes back to the Elamites. So these Carmanians, okay, spoken of here in 2nd Ezra 15 and 30, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. You see? They're going to come and go to war, man. Raging in wrath shall they go forth as the wild boars of the wood. When you go into the woods, specific, to be more specific here in Florida, you got to be careful with those wild boars, man. They'll eat you. They'll attack you. They're very aggressive. Okay, even back in the day, Esau would get the Reubenites and the slaves down here, and he would tie them up to trees and cut their legs, make cuttings in the legs so the blood would start coming out. And while you were tied up, He would leave you in those woods, these woods out here, and the wild boars would come and they start to eat your legs while you're still alive. That's how much of a damn devil Esau is, man. But those wild boars, man, they ain't to play with, man. Even men who go out today and go hunt those wild boars, they go with dogs. A lot of these guys, they be putting bulletproof vest or Kevlar vest on these dogs so that the tusk of the boars don't, stab them. That's how aggressive these boars are, okay? And that's the same spirit that's in those Iranians, man, or the Iranians. And see, this is the spirit that the Lord is pushing out on the earth right now, man. Okay? And great wrath is getting ready to come over there in the Middle East, and it's going to be brought to the four corners of the earth, man. And let's go back to Jeremiah. Let's get this in verse 49, or chapter 49. Jeremiah 49:20, it says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Who's the least of the flock? Those people over there in the land of Iran, man. And a lot of those people, believe it or not, came from the Caucasus Mountains, from Georgia, from Germany. Okay, who are the Temanites? A lot of those, that's over there in Germany, man. Those Germans. Okay. But it says, "And his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." You see? So those people over there in Iran, the least of or in Israel, the least of the flock, they're drawing them out. They're drawing Esau out to war, man. He's stirring shit up over there in the Middle East here in these last days so that the Lord can accomplish that which it pleases him. And America's going to be drawn into a world war because of what's happening over there, man. We've been seeing things been stirred up for years now over there in the Middle East, man. Going back a long time. And now we're starting to see the final pieces being put together, man. So prepare, man, because what the Lord is going to have happen is the Lord's going to start putting it in the spirit of these nations to start to send troops out there, more troops, and preparations for these things to take place. And eventually somebody from one side is going to get killed, and it's just going to escalate from there, man. So, hey, Lord's with us is edifying. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachaha Gudash. Double honor to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akimar on the four corners of the earth, who are diligently pushing out his truth and sincerity. With that, I say shalom.